it's Hailey, and today I'm going to be talking about books that all booktubers seem to talk about. So this video isn't meant to be shady at all, because if it were, I'm shading myself because I talk about a lot of these books all the time, and most of them I feel like get a lot of popularity on BookTube because they genuinely are really good and enjoyable books. Some of them I'm not huge fans of, but hey, it is not my list of books that I love. It is books that I see on BookTube all the time. Now, I had a pretty big list, and then I asked you guys on Twitter which ones you see all the time, and you guys totally came through with that, so thank you so much for adding to my list. It is huge now. You guys actually made my list so much longer that I'm going to be doing this video differently than I've done any of my other videos before. So I have a list of like 40 books to talk about. So what I'm going to be doing is giving you guys a one-sentence snippet of what you need to know about that book. These first few are actually all authors because they have quite a few books that are really popular on BookTube, and then I will get into specific like singular novels. So like I said, I've got tons to talk about, so let's just dive into it. First up is, of course, anything and everything Cassandra Clare, be it the Infernal Devices, the Mortal Instruments, the Dark Artifices, anything that she's written. The Shadowhunter world as a whole is just a general BookTube classic. And what you need to know about it is an urban fantasy about demon hunters that all started with a girl going to a club at 15. So the moral of the story is don't go to a club at 15. I don't even know she was 15, but she was definitely underage, so just don't do it. Next is Sarah J. Maas, who is the author of two very popular series, the first being Throne of Glass, which is all about an assassin who enters this competition and ends up in a lot more trouble than she had bargained for. The other series that she's very well known for is the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, which was a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and the next is Rainbow Rowell, and the first of her very popular novels is Fangirl, which is arguably the book that like every booktuber identifies with, and it really does make sense. Next is Carry On, which is kind of a spin-off from Fangirl, but it has magic, it has an adorable gay romance, and I still haven't read it yet, even though I really need to, and everyone keeps telling me that. And finally, we have Eleanor and Park, which is the 80s romance with a bit of a twist at the end. Next, we have Adam Silvera, the author of More Happy Than Not, They Both Die at the End, and History Is All You Left Me, as well as the co-author of What If It's Us. All of his books can be summed up with one simple phrase, and that is, they are tragic love stories that tear your heart out, but you kinda love it at the same time. Next is Morgan Matson. She is the author of Save the Date, The Unexpected Everything, Since You've Been Gone, Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, and Second Chance Summer. Morgan is once again an author who can be summed up with one phrase, and that is fun, cute, adorable romances with a little bit extra going for them. Next is John Green, of course, the author of The Fault in Our Stars, Paper Towns, Looking for Alaska, An Abundance of Catherines. Most recently, Turtles All the Way Down. I feel like I'm forgetting some. Will Grayson. Like many of the other authors on this list, he's popular outside of the BookTube world as well, but he writes really tragic romances once again that are just so horrible and sad, but you love the characters, but you also hate them because like they're teenagers and they're smarter than you, but he just has beautiful writing, the most lyrical prose, and it's just fantastic. Next is anything by Rick Riordan, the Percy Jackson series, Magnus Chase, Kane Chronicles. No matter what it is, BookTube can't get enough of Rick Riordan and his mythologically based stories with perfectly sassy characters. I'm looking at you, Percy. Next is the Darkest Mind series by Alexandra Bracken, which follows a group of kids with superpowers that team up to fight their oppressors. Next is Caraval by Stephanie Garber, which takes you on a journey through this dark, creepy, twisted carnival and will have you trying to determine what's real and what's not the entire time. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard is of course like the love child of Shatter Me and Throne of Glass and The Hunger Games and The Selection. If all of that combined and had a baby, it would be Red Queen, but I mean that in the best way possible. The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, which is fairies and craziness and just so like twisted, man, it's twisted. The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee, which takes you on a delightful romp through Europe, and it is so fun, and it has, once again, an adorable gay romance. You should just read it. Anything in the Grisha universe by Leigh Bardugo, Six of Crows specifically, is what I'm going to talk about because you follow this group of lovable characters that are just lovable misfits, and they go on this heist, and it is just, it's so good, okay? I clearly have a lot of feelings about it. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, which follows follows a gay boy who isn't out yet, and he finds romance through emails and then ends up being a blackmail. Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi, which follows a girl with lethal touch who has to make the choice between being a weapon or a warrior. A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, which follows characters who travel through parallel universes and all of the stuff that comes with that. I feel like I also should have mentioned Marissa Meyer in the authors portion, but she is the author of the Lunar Chronicles, which is fairy tales in space, amazing, and Heartless, which gives you an amazing backstory to the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. Of course, this list would be incomplete without mentioning The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, which is a novel inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement, and it is a very important read and should be required reading for everyone, quite frankly. Also, Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling, which is really just a general phenomenon. The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, which is once again one that has a lot of popularity outside of BookTube, but it should just be popular all around, and we should all just volunteer as tribute. Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which is all about artificial intelligence gaining a mind of its own and what happens when that happens. That was a lot of happens. An Ember in the Ashes by Sava Tahir, which is about a slave and a soldier coming together in turbulent times. Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi, which I still need to read. I need this reading slump to end so I can get to it. The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater, which follows Blue and a group of boys as they try to wake this long-dead Welsh king. To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han, which is about love letters being sent out and fake romances. Or is it fake? Also, we had it before Netflix did. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor, which has beautiful writing, and I wish that I could love them, but I'm like the only person on BookTube who didn't enjoy them, and I tried twice. The Selection by Kira Cass, which is like The Bachelor, but The Bachelor is a prince, and it's one of those guilty pleasure reads. When Dimple Met Rashid by Sandhya Menon, which features two characters that are in an arranged marriage together, but they end up meeting a little sooner than expected, and it is just so cute. Divergent by Veronica Roth, which shows the fallout of trying to sort people into 4 categories, because that never works. It also features probably the most hated sequel on BookTube. Warcrest by Marie Lu, which features a vivid virtual reality competition that will blow your mind. Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Elir Senez, which features 2 boys who end up falling in love, and they didn't expect it because they have virtually nothing in common, but they actually end up learning a lot from each other. My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows, which is a book that just shouldn't work, but it really does, and it's a historical fiction about the 9 Days Queen, Lady Jane Grey, and it features a man who turns into a horse, so I highly recommend it. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin, which will just have you asking, what is going on the entire time? Everything by Nicola Yoon, which follows a girl who is allergic to everything and never leaves her house and hasn't really had any contact with anyone outside of her mother and nurse until a mysterious cute boy moves in next door and changes everything. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, the story of a young girl growing up in Nazi Germany who finds solace in words in a time where the world around her seems to be torn apart. Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia, which shows you what would happen if a girl who is a very popular anonymous online comic writer ends up meeting her most popular fanfic writer. Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, which follows a girl who wants to be a forensic scientist in a time where women aren't really allowed to be scientists. And finally, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, which is about a circus that only comes at night and then mysteriously disappears, just as mysteriously as it appeared in the first place. So I was just editing this video and I realized I left out 2 major BookTube classics. So the first one is of course Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings, and the second one is obviously Again But Better by Christine Riccio. So the 2 booktuber books, I'm sorry I forgot them, I don't know what I was thinking, but now consider them included. I'm still editing this video and I also realized that I forgot to mention Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs, so this video is just a fail. So those are all of the books that I feel like are constantly talked about on BookTube. They are BookTube staples, BookTube classics if you will, and kind of a starter's kit for BookTube watching. Obviously I didn't get to all of them, and where you watch BookTube there might be certain books that you hear about more than others that are on this list, but this is just my personal list of what I feel like are the books that are always talked about. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did and you want to join the Bookland family and become a Booklander, then don't forget to click that subscribe button and then click that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I put up new videos every Wednesday and Friday, and I'm also part of the Bookmarked live show, which is held every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I will have all the information for that down below. You can also follow me on all of my social media. All of my handles and stuff will be down below as well. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next next one. Bye!